I'm Adam Schram. I'm a senior at the Delta program, and I like to perform poetry. So much so that I performed for our school at the state competition in Harrisburg for Poetry Out Loud and took second place. I don't write any poetry, I should clarify, but I do perform it. And I think that there's a lot more that you can do when performing another person's poetry because poetry is so dense. There is so much language inside just a small amount of writing that you can just pick apart in so many different ways. And I think that that gives so much more diversity when it comes to interpreting it. And I think when people perform that with their own flavor, it gives it so much more of a personality than if you were to just read it off a piece of paper. For the state competition, I performed 3 poems, and I picked them simply because they resonated with me on a personal level. The first one I performed is one titled Y2K by Therese Lloyd, and it's about, well, the Y2K crisis and how everybody thought the world was going to end because our computers didn't know what to do. But in reality, nothing bad did happen, and the poem is really analyzing why did we spend all that time worrying about it. Here's how it goes. Y2K by Therese Lloyd. When I was in despair, the dark days when I actually used such terms, I noticed the behavior of animals. Sleep when tired, eat when hungry. That made a lot of sense to me, and yet I felt different. I felt my humanness too much. No fly ever wonders whether it should make lots and lots of maggots. It gives birth on a mound of cat food or inside the rubbish bin. As far as I know, it's not worried about overpopulation or what sort of environment its kids will grow up in. My humanness sees me at an art gallery, watching others watching walls. My humanness gives me dark thoughts of cruel behavior. You are in the States, a visa glitch, and there you remain. Like Star Trek, I talk to you on a screen, your face half a second out of sync with your speech. I'm in the future. My Tuesday is already over, and I want to tell you all about it, to prove my superiority. That lovely conceit of time that saw people travel from all over the world to be in Gisborne for the first sunrise of the new millennium. Remember how we all thought the sewer pipes would burst and the criminals would escape or something like that? Y2K packs sent to every household because no one knew for certain what the numbers 2000 really meant. Somewhere, people, important people, cowered in bunkers, fearing the worst. For me, poetry is just raw language, and I find that so beautiful because when you take something like that that hasn't been edited or transformed in a way to be more correct, it becomes its own message. And I think when people give themselves that power to write something like that, they can really create whatever on earth they want. Another one of the poems I performed is titled Respiration by Jamal May. This one is simply talking about how we keep so much inside of us and forget to breathe. A poem by Jamal May, Respiration. A lot of it lives in the trachea, you know, but not so much that you won't need more muscle. The diaphragm, a fist clenching at the bottom. Inhale. So many of us are breathless, you know, like me, kneeling to collect the pottery shards of a houseplant my elbow has nudged into oblivion. What if I sigh and the black earth beneath me scatters like insects running from my breath? Am I a god then? Am I insane because I worry about the disassembling of earth regularly? I walk more softly now into gardens or up the steps of old houses with impatience stuffed in their window boxes. When it's you standing there with a letter or voice or face full of solemn news, will you hold your breath before you knock?